Hi, welcome back to Sweet Nothing Crochet's videos. Today we're going to work on a double crochet stitch. I just have a simple set of 8 stitches that I've worked here, and we'll use this as our base. If you've been following my blogs or my videos from the starting stitch, you'll know that we've been working with the same little swatch and experimenting with different stitches. So there are several ways in which you can do the double crochet stitch for the starting stitch. So the simplest way that people start is by working chain 2, which is the length of a double crochet or the height of a double crochet stitch, and the chain 2 then becomes your first stitch. So if it becomes your first stitch, you don't work in that first place, and you work your first double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, chain 2 has become your first stitch. So how do you work your double crochet? Yarn over, hook into the stitch, grab your yarn and pull it through. You have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pass it through the first 2 loops, 2 loops on hook. Yarn over, pass it through the next 2 loops on hook. Yarn over, pass it through the stitch, grab the yarn and pull it through. You have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pass it through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pass it through the next 2 loops, and your second double crochet done. So the first row that we have is a single crochet. The next row that we've done is double crochet. Can you see the height? It's double. So let's work the next double crochet. Yarn over, hook into the stitch, grab the yarn and pull it through. Hold your stitch as close as you can with your thumb and your second finger, just to improve the tension. Keep this as lightly as possible. There should be a tension to it, but it should be loose. Yarn over, pull it through the first 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, and through the next 2 loops. Let's try that again. You're holding your work close to your finger should be close to where you need to work. Hook into the stitch, grab that yarn, pull it through. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over through the first 2, yarn over to the next 2, and your next double crochet done. Let's work just one more. Through, grab, yarn over once, yarn over twice for a double crochet. Yarn over, into the stitch, 3 loops on hook, 1 and 2 for a double crochet. For the last time, into the last stitch, grab your yarn, pull it through, 1 and 2. Great. You managed one full row, and this is the simplest way to work your row of double crochet with that start. Okay, but do you see that start? You see how loose it feels in comparison to these stitches? So let me show you another way to do it. Once you've figured out how to do the double crochet, let's do a nicer way to start the double crochet. So what I do is I just make this loop a little longer. Alright, hold the base of that loop, yarn over and into the first stitch. Grab your yarn, pull it through. You still have 3 loops on hook. Yarn over through the first 2 loops, yarn over. So you have a slightly thicker, solid stitch, and it's an easier finish, a neater finish than the rest. For the rest of the double crochet, you work in exactly the same way. Through 2, through 2, yarn over, into the stitch, through 2, through 2, yarn over into the stitch, through 2, through 2. Let's work the next 3 till we go till the end, and then I'll just show you the difference of starting with a chain 2 as against starting with the chainless start or the standing start. So when you come to that first stitch, if you've worked with a chain 2 start, you need to go into that top chain, which is the top of your double crochet. Okay, so now look at this row and see there's a gap there, but you look at this row, there's no gap. There's just the gap that you would have between the stitches. It's the same gap. And when you come back in the next row, you have a proper stitch in which to go into. You don't have to fumble around and try and figure out which is the chain that you need to go into. So let's see, how do we start the chainless start? You pull up a loop which is about the length, the height of your double crochet, yarn over and into the same first stitch itself, and then you work the double crochet as you normally would, yarn over through the first 2 loops, yarn over through the next 2 loops, and you're off working your whole row of double crochets. This stitch is a little pudgy, it's a little fat, but I would rather have this fat stitch than this hole. So now that you have the stitches against one another, you'll see exactly what I mean. There you go. This is a row of double crochet as well as a chainless double crochet start. Have a great day, and I see you soon on Sweet Nothing Crochet's videos.